Most of us think of the HbA1c test as just a simple pass-fail for diabetes. You're either in the clear or you're not. But what if I told you that number is actually telling a much deeper story? What if it's a direct measurement of how fast your body is aging on the inside? So let's really dig into what this number is truly telling you.
Okay, so picture this. A 42-year-old woman, she looks fit, feels totally fine, and a routine blood test comes back with an HbA1c of 44. Her doctor says, hey, you're not diabetic, so she walks out of there thinking, phew, dodged a bullet. But what nobody told her was that at that very moment, that slightly elevated glucose was quietly damaging proteins in her brain, it was stiffening the blood vessels in her heart, and it was gunking up the tiny filters in her kidneys. See, this wasn't a disease. Not yet. It was just chemistry in action, the slow, silent accumulation of damage.
And her story, right there, it points to one of the most dangerous blind spots in modern medicine. It all comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of what HbA1c actually is.
It's so easy to get trapped in this black and white thinking, right? You're either diabetic or you're fine. But that's not how biology works. HbA1c isn't an on-off switch, it's a dial. It's measuring the total biochemical damage your body has been exposed to for the last 3 months. And here's the thing, and this is so important. Your cells, they don't care about some arbitrary diagnostic cutoff. Your brain doesn't care, and your blood vessels sure don't care. They only care about the chemical environment they're swimming in, right now.
So what's really going on here? How can one little number tell us so much about the last few months of your life? Well, it all comes down to a really simple and honestly pretty elegant biological process.
The process is called glycation. And what's wild is, this isn't some rare disease thing. It's a basic chemical reaction happening inside every single one of us right now, all the time. Glucose in your blood just spontaneously sticks to proteins. The only thing that changes is how fast it's happening.
Okay, so let's walk through the story of how this happens. As glucose just cruises around in your bloodstream, it bumps into the hemoglobin protein inside your red blood cells and sticks to it. The more sugar there is, the more sticking happens. And this is the really clever part. That bond is permanent for the entire life of that red blood cell, which is about 8 to 12 weeks. So when you get the test, it's literally just counting up what percentage of your hemoglobin has been, well, sugar-coated, giving you this amazing average of your blood sugar exposure over the last 3 months.
And that is why a single fasting glucose test can be so misleading. That's just one photo. HbA1c is the entire movie of the last 3 months. It reveals everything: the post-meal spikes, the late-night ice cream, the sugar surges from a stressful day. It's the total biochemical soup your tissues have been marinating in and day out.
Right, so this whole glycation thing, it doesn't just stop with your red blood cells. I mean, if it did, who cares, right? The problem is it's happening everywhere else. And this is a fundamental driver of what we call aging.
When glucose sticks to a protein, it literally changes its shape and how it works. The best way to think about it is like this. It takes these flexible, bouncy, dynamic structures in your body and makes them stiff, sticky, and brittle. And then, as if that's not bad enough, these damaged proteins kick off a chain reaction of oxidative stress and chronic low-grade inflammation, which just adds more fuel to the fire.
And you can see how this plays out all over the body. It's a total system-wide problem. In your blood vessels, it kills their elasticity, making your blood pressure go up. In your brain, it messes with signaling and memory, even your skin. That cross-linking of collagen from glycation, that's what leads directly to wrinkles. So you see, it's not just a sugar problem, it's an everything problem that slowly chips away at every organ you have.
All right, so let's talk numbers. What do they actually mean? Because this is where we have to get way beyond the simple idea of what's normal.
So here you see the official clinical cutoffs, and yeah, they're useful for putting a label on a disease, but they hide a massive amount of risk. You could have a result of 35, and your friend could have a 41. The doctor says you're both normal. But here's the truth. Your long-term health paths could be headed in completely different directions.
And this right here is maybe the most important takeaway: the difference between normal and optimal. Normal just means you don't have a full-blown disease yet. It's the absence of a diagnosis. But optimal, which studies are now showing is down in the low 30s, is a state of minimal damage and peak performance. That's the real goal for a long, healthy life.
And the data on this is it's stark. Your risk for something major like a heart attack or stroke doesn't just pop up out of nowhere when you cross into the diabetic category. No way. It's a smooth, slippery slope that starts way, way down in what doctors call the normal range. Every single point matters.
And let's bring this back to how you actually feel, day to day. That afternoon energy slump where you need a coffee, that brain fog where you can't focus, feeling irritable or hungry all the time. We just write it off. Oh, I'm stressed, or, well, I'm just getting older. But so often, these are the first warning signs of that same metabolic mess that's slowly nudging your HbA1c higher.
Okay, so after all that, here's the really good news. This number, it is not set in stone. Not at all. It is incredibly responsive to what you do. So let's talk about the levers you can actually pull to move that needle.
And look, the best way to do this isn't about white-knuckling it through some miserable diet. It's about understanding the biological levers you can pull, the steering inputs that actually guide your metabolism in the right direction.
And here are some of the biggest game changers. First up, building muscle, it's huge. Think of your muscles as the biggest glucose sponge you have. A simple 15-minute walk after you eat can work wonders on those sugar spikes. Sleep. 7 to 8 hours is an absolute metabolic non-negotiable. Eating your protein and fiber first at a meal is a simple trick that slows everything down. And finally, just avoiding liquid sugar. Sodas, sweet teas, juices, that is probably the single easiest, highest impact change you can make.
And you got to remember, because this is a 3-month average, you're not going to see a change overnight. This isn't about a crash diet for a week. It is all about consistency. Small, easy shifts that you can stick with for months. That's what slowly but surely pulls that average down and changes everything.
So, when we strip away all the medical jargon and the clinical terms, what have we really been talking about this whole time?
This, right here, is the ultimate reframe. Your HbA1c is a biological aging speedometer. It's giving you a direct look at the invisible aging process happening deep inside your body. It's literally telling you, are your cells aging faster than your actual birthday cake says they should be?
But please, remember this, your HbA1c is not destiny. It is not a final grade. It is simply feedback. And feedback is a gift, right? It's data you can act on. When you change your habits, you're not just lowering some number on a lab report, you are actively, literally, slowing down the biological process of aging itself.
So I'll leave you with this one thought. Your HbA1c is just a recording. It's the biochemical story that your daily life, everything you eat, how you move, how you sleep, how you handle stress, is writing into your blood. So what story do you want it to tell?